I love ya, everyone. We are here again with the power of you, the power of you, the power of you. Greetings, everyone. I see Mahogany there in the chat as usual. The first one on. I'm gotta give you a prize, an award. Yes. And we see over here foreign exchange joined and bully baby something. Ia Moyin joined us also. So we have Instagram and Facebook, and I think that's it, right? So anyway, blessed day. We are going to jump right in, jump right in, jump right in. Whew. This is the power of you for the month of April. So we're going to celebrate with Ogun. We're going to give hail up to Ogun. For those of you who have received my newsletter the 1st of April, I always put it out the 1st of the month. You know what I'm talking about. For those of you who have not, then you want to go on my blog and you will see the message, the lesson, as well as the rituals to go ahead and perform in your home, how to set up the altar and that. For those of you who are in the Ore IIASK group, my membership of Yeyefini.com, you have gotten the video on how to set up your altar, how to do the ceremony with that green candle. That sucker works. And how to do the baths. All of that is on there, the Odu that we're doing. So go ahead and know that we are here to celebrate where we're coming from and where we are going. This is a very powerful, powerful time for us because it is actually a time for us to go within. When I was trying to figure out what to tap into, what is it I am going to speak on today, I always let the message come through. And I was on Facebook. I haven't been able to get on Facebook for a minute because we're in the midst of, March starts our initiation session. So we're getting ready to do initiations. We just did a series of rituals last weekend. This weekend is the initiation to Yemonja. The throne days on Sunday. If you want to come, just send me a note and I'll give you the address. But anyway, so this is a very powerful time in that this is Aries. This is Ogun's time. This is a time for us to know that all that we've been through, if you've been following us throughout since January, each Orisha we call on every month. Each month we have a special Orisha. So now in April, we always talk about and go into the woods and do the things that we need to do for ourselves. So when I was thinking, what am I going to speak about? I was looking at Facebook and I saw this gentleman was doing, I can't even quote him because I don't have the actual stream that it was on, but he said something very powerful that made sense. And I never thought about it like that. And I know there's a scientific reason to know that a tree grows downward as well as upward at the same time. That was like, whoa. That when a tree is growing, it's growing from the top, it's showing the top, and it's growing from the bottom. And so that made me connect to exactly what's going on with us right now. Do not allow yourself to be distracted by some of the nonsense that's going on, and people are doing things without really thinking as to what it is that we can accomplish. And do not get distracted by the idea or the concept that you are not enough, or that all of the negative things perhaps that are going on has something to do with you not having food, shelter, a job. It is a time for us to look at how much you have growing on the top. How much is it that you have accomplished? And y'all may be tired of me speaking about my mom, but some of you may not, because, my mother is, I think we have like 22 25 days since she passed, and just a week and a couple of days since her funeral. And so she's just here with me always. I'm thinking about how the connection that we have to our ancestors is the things that we are today. It's because of the things that they did. And so my idea of where my mother is right now, I know we have the scientific formulas that we do, and we have the spiritual process that we have when you can elevate an ancestors, when you can put their picture on your altar and call them, and that we have a process of that, which is to give the spirit the time to elevate, and it can take as much as 6 to 9 months. And each culture have its own thing. So for me, what is making sense to me is that I know that my mother has stepped into memories and situations and people that she has not been in touch with, this time, this incarnation. Not this incarnation, but lately. I think of my mom right now talking to my father. And so those of you that read my book, The Living Shrine, you know that the relationship between my mother and my father, my birth mother and father, was very, very challenging. And from that, we gained a lot, but some of it we had to heal from. And I know my mother and my father are looking and saying, look at Rona. Look at Yeye. Look at what we created. I know they are. And I know they've embraced each other and forgave each other and told each other things that they were not able to tell this incarnation because they did not realize it. They're both coming from being African descended and the enslavement period. They're coming with suffering of abandonment, of the racism, sexism, all of the things. And so I think of my mother as talking to Clyde, and they're like, whoa. And they remember, even in a bad marriage, there were those good moments. There gotta be those good moments. And so if it was just a moment that they were standing there getting married, or if it was the moment where they were drinking a soda together when they were flirting or something like that, I know they're connecting to that. It just makes sense to me that we have the opportunity to think about that. And then she's connected to my stepfather, and they are in a place of looking back at all of the things that they accomplished together. The businesses that they started, the houses that they bought in Brooklyn. They owned a 4-story apartment complex in Brooklyn, coming from my mother not even finishing high school. But the strength of our ancestors let her know to go on. So think about that right now, or we are thinking about Ogun. Because in Ogun, in the blog that you can go on my website, and you see during this month, Ogun, the planet of Mars and the astrological sign of Aries, influences us manifested like a fear of bodily harm. This is how Ogun manifests. Lack of bodily harm. Ogun's energy is forceful, skillful, enterprising, constructive, zealous, passionate, and hardworking. He is motivated by situations involving challenges and even dangerous activities. I give you herbs as to how to get to him, and that way we're not going to read it here. During this time, look at where you are. During this time, it's important to look at where you are and not where you think you ought to be. Your ancestors, God is saying, man, you are awesome. Look at Jackie. Look at what she's doing. Look how many houses she bought. Right? Look at that Mahogany saying, she moved back and is taking care of her mama. Good. And all of you got a story that your ancestors and God is saying you are doing a magnificent job. So this is the time to look at where you are and not where you think you ought to be. Because when we think about where we ought to be, we can be living in a past memory of which we coulda, shoulda, woulda, and we get stuck. And that's when Ogun's fire is within us that requires us to be brave and move through that. Don't allow yourself to become tired and weary of the fight, challenges, or tests in your life. This is the season to focus on where you want to be, not where you are. Don't get stuck in a bad situation assuming it's permanently that place. So just as my mom didn't focus on the bad stuff, she moved on and remarried and had a beautiful life. And so when I looked at that thing about the plants growing from the bottom as well as the top, most of our growth is done in those times when we are in the dark, when we don't have a clue as to what's going on. I just started planting this season. All of the things are in the ground now. I started day before yesterday. And to look at this little seed here, that's going to become a whole stock of corn that I am going to be able to do rituals with and eat and to perform magic with. There's a powerful ritual that you can do for Yemonja when things are really financially hard. Get yourself 7 ears of corn, and while you're shucking them, praying for what you want to unveil to you, and you boil it. And when it's hot, you pour molasses over it. And if you have an altar to Yemonja, you put it there. If you don't have, put it in front of your Eshu or put it someplace sacred in your house and ask Yemonja, take this joy, thank you, please. And just know that I'm grateful for all that you've done for me. That, baby, is for money. And ask for just as many kernels of corn. May you have that much money in $1,000 bills. Baby, I don't know if they got $1,000 bills, but you know, you can get creative. Yes, that stuff works. But anyway, get back. So I'm looking at these plants. Those big trees that I got in my backyard, they grew from a little acorn to this big tree. And the secret of science, the scientific secret about plants, is that just as the plant is above, so it is below. Those root systems reach that far. That's why you got to loosen up the dirt. You got to get to loosen up, because you have to know that you are in fertile ground. You can't be like, oh my God, I'm scared to stretch out because something might get me. No, loosen up. Loosen up and trust the dark. The dark is where we have our best growth. And just as you are looking at yourself, at this success of your life, know that someone watered you with prayer. Someone watered you with encouragement. Someone watered you with a disciplined word. Someone let you stay at their house. Someone, when you couldn't speak to anyone else, they called you and you just happened to pick up the phone. Someone in the hospital, and they just happened to get you. That is God's favor on you. Yes, where you were able to be in a position to speak up for someone because they were being abused emotionally or psychologically. They didn't have the strength to push through to the top of the plant. They were still down there not seeing. And you were able to water them so that the seed would grow and pop up through them. That's what your ancestors, that's what God is thanking you for. God is like, baby, you are my dream. You are everything that I dreamed and asked for. Can y'all see me? So your ancestors and God itself is like, you got this. You got this. If you are using the tools that you have used in the past to bring you to where you are, give thanks to God, to your ancestors, to your own Ori, to your head, to someone who has helped you, someone that's younger than you, someone that's older than you, and experience. For those of you that read my book, the experience that got me out of living in a place where I was doubting my own Orisha, somebody had to put a gun to my head. That's the dark. You're in the dark thinking that all that is happening now is where it's going to stay, and it's not. You are budding out, opening up. So most of our growth is in the dark. That job that you think when you lost it was the end of the world. No, that was for you to go inside and germinate some more and get some more nutrients out of the soil so that you can grow up into this beautiful corn stalk or this beautiful flower or this beautiful spinach. That child that is not behaving themselves and you feel that it's going to be a bad thing and it's never going to change, it's going to change. Because here's the thing, while the plants are growing up above and below, we don't see the process that's going on below. All we know is that we want to pick the fruits and say, oh my God, I got all of this. Give thanks to that to that period in your life when you just was clueless that you were going to go in and somebody pat you in the back and say, girl, you got this. Oh man, you got this. And you didn't believe it. And you went home. And then you believed it. You said, oh, wow. Yesterday in my preparation for the Yemonja initiation is coming up, a lot of things, Yemonja always has a lot of things that she's bringing in all at the right time. But it's a lot. So we're still in the Institute. If you're a part of the Ore, you went to worship service last weekend for Oshun. And in that, Oshun is still on the altar. So I'm doing my daily honoring her until Friday when we take the altar down from the shrine and put her shrines back on where her altar, belongs. And in that moment, while I am preparing with Yemonja and all of the things coming in, my mother, I'm so happy that it's the first Yemonja initiation we're having here on the land. It's beautiful. My first Yemonja initiation was in Charlotte. I did 2 in Charlotte when I lived in Charlotte, back when Jesus was in good diapers. When Charlotte was not what Charlotte is today. So this is the first one that we're doing here on this land, on the temple, on the land here in North Carolina. And so in doing that, there's so many floodgates of things are rushing in. We got a new building came in. The men are building the toilets. It's just a lot of activity. And I'm like, oh my God, is it going to be ready? I was in the dark. So I just went and lay down. I spoke to Oshun and I took Oshun's mirror and I looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, I know I am blessed. I know I am blessed. Yami Oshun. I cannot complain because this month with Oshun said, don't ask me for anything. Just be grateful for what you have. You have your blood and that's all you need to be grateful for. And the rest is gravy. I just thanked Oshun and I said, Oshun, I know all that is happening is going to be fine. I have to convince myself when I'm in the dark. Not because you think that because I'm out here and I've been doing this for a while. Baby, I got to do the same thing as everybody else. And so in that dark moment, I looked in the mirror and I said, you got this. You got this, baby. And then I went to Yemonja and I just laid on the mat in front of her like a baby. I just laid in front of Yemonja and just said, Yemonja, I know it's perfectly aligned. And just as I was feeling her energy, I fell asleep. I was like, I need to get up. I woke up. It was like 10, 15 minutes later. I go to my mailbox. After I finish, I go to my mailbox. I get a letter from one of my students from a long time ago that she is leaving the Institute. She no longer wants to be a member of the Institute. I was like, whoa, that came as a surprise because it was just a surprise I didn't expect it because people have to do what they got to do. But in that moment, it was Yemonja because she's a daughter of Yemonja. I was like, dang on, Yemonja. You are too much. You're moving one thing to bring something else in. And in that dark, I needed you to focus and get my energy so you can understand what the blessing was that she's leaving. Versing, oh my God, I did so much for her. Thank you. Because one Yemonja is leaving and a Yemonja is coming to be crowned. So when you are in that dark place, use the tool. And Ogun is saying, get the courage to fess up to yourself that you're feeling weak, you're feeling down in yourself. It's okay. But reach for the tool. Know that you're not alone. So I want y'all to call on Ogun. Plant your seed. Visualize yourself in this meditation as a seed going into the ground as we chant to Ogun. So I want you to take 3 cleansing breaths as we always do, breathing in. And then breathing out and breathing in again and slowly breathing out and breathing in and holding that breath and breathing out and visualize yourself putting a seed in the ground and see yourself as the seed going into the ground, having the courage to do what is required, which is to know that in the dark is where you're growing. Oh. Let me know if you can hear Ogun's chanting. Breathing in, allowing Ogun's energy. You are this. Yes. Visualize yourself in the dark. You are in the ground, in the earth. Look at all of the nourishment that's coming to you in the form of your ancestors, in the form of people who have left you, in the form of people who are coming, in the form of people who you are in conflict with. See all of that as nutrients growing you. And at this point, I want you to visualize yourself becoming this plant, powerful plant, coming up out of the soil as a plant. You are a plant coming out of the soil that nurtured you. The challenges, the courage, the encouragement, the losses, the blessings, the joy that you are. See yourself coming out of it. See yourself. Hold your face up to the sun. The sun that fed you. See the rain coming down on you, nourishing you. See the rain just falling on you. And you're drinking that divine water. Yes, open your mouth. Drink some of that water that's coming from the heavens. Feel the sun on your shoulders. See yourself as this plant. See yourself as this strong tree with fruits on it. And the fruits are the new jobs that you have, the new relationships that you have that's coming, the new health, the new joy of your children and your grandchildren doing well. The challenges that you thought you had, the opposition, the divorce, all of that, those are the fruits. Go on and pick those fruits. Ashe, 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 ashe. Ashe. See yourself picking those fruits. Those are the rewards of you sitting in the dark in the times that you didn't have a clue. And you're coming through it, and you have a massive, massive garden around you of the products that you have. So on this day, we pray and we ask Ogun, may Ogun manifest its courage, its passion, its energy, its zealousness, its entrepreneurship, its brotherhood, its sisterhood. May you find all of those things during the month of April and every month of the year as we spread from the dark, knowing that just as exactly what you've been through, however long you've been into that, you are now in your season of reward of that long. So if you struggled for 4 years for the perfect job, the relationship, coming out of the depression, coming out of misdiagnosis, coming out of all of that, if you stayed 3 years, 3 months, 2 weeks, the tree is just as old as you are. You're going to get those rewards. You're going to get rewards within 2 weeks. You're going to get rewards within 6 months. You're going to get rewards that are going to make up for when you didn't have a clue. Trust. God is speaking good words about you. Your ancestors are speaking good words about you. Your auntie and uncle are saying, look at that girl. We thought that I knew she was going to do it. Boy, I'm so glad she came through that little difficulty. Your father is saying, wow, look at my daughter. Look how strong she is. Look at that beautiful relationship that she's in. The man just treats her the way that I treated her grandma. And your grandma is rearranging all of the things in your life. She went in your life and said, no, you need to move. And she got you the perfect house. She said, now, daughter, you can set up the house to your liking. Yes, look at that little child that you lost. And know that that child's spirit is coming and another child is going to come close to you for shelter, for love. Yes. Blessings on you, blessings on you, blessings on you. And you who are teachers, know that you are born teachers. You will always teach. You may have to change your location, your mindset, but you will always be encouraging. And that's what a teacher is. You are the griot. So as we move forward, may Ogun continue to bless us. And as a community, may we keep our eyes on what Oshun said this year. Sing and dance and praise joy and happiness. Don't focus and get distracted by the nonsense. Every fight is not your battle. Know what fights are worth fighting for before you get into it. Be blessed. Be encouraged. Join us on Ore IIASK. We are going to have a beautiful celebration for Ogun. The third Thursday are the classes for the upcoming sessions, and the third Sunday then becomes our worship service that you can come in live or online. Go to Yeyefini.com and look for Ore IIASK. For those of you who are interested in finding more information on the things that we're doing, just go to Yeyefini.com, Balanced Living, or follow us on all of the platforms. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful Wednesday. And may Ogun strike your enemies, remove your enemies, so that you can walk in the light. Ashe.